Welcome to another episode of Tangled Rights. I am one of your hosts, Justin W. Wilson.
And Shane D. Cox, Esquire. This is not intended to be legal advice in any way whatsoever. Just general comments from two attorneys who practice primarily in the state of Nevada, city of Las Vegas mostly.
Sometimes in Kansas.
And then Justin is also licensed in Kansas. But consult an attorney if you have any questions.
In your local area.
Please.
If I seem distracted, it's because I'm observing items on an auction real quick.
Oh,
But I'm going to be listening and passively paying attention.
All right. Well, this is episode number 38.
Ooh.
38.
That's my age.
Yeah.
For now.
Austin, we still have our sponsor. Okay, last one. We'll plug a word from our sponsor right here. Hey, Tangled Rights listeners. In today's digital world, we're all spending more time online, whether it's shopping, banking, or just connecting with friends. But have you ever stopped to think about how safe your personal information really is? That's where today's sponsor, Aura, comes in. Aura is a comprehensive online safety solution that protects you from identity theft, data breaches, and even unwanted surveillance. With Aura, you can monitor your credit, track your personal information, and get real-time alerts if something suspicious happens, all from one easy-to-use app. Not only that, Aura helps protect your family with tools like parental controls and fraud protection. Plus, if the worst does happen, their dedicated team of experts is ready to help you recover, giving you peace of mind wherever you go. Don't let your online life put you at risk. Protect your personal information and feel safe while you enjoy everything the internet has to offer. Click the link in the description below or visit aura.com/tangledrights and get a 14-day free trial to see how easy it is to stay safe online.
It's critical to protect yourselves. You need to do it, both online and physically. That kind of is a segue into that one thing we wanted to talk about.
Which one thing?
Protecting yourself even on college campuses.
Oh, all right. We'll start with that. President Trump signed the Laken Riley Act yesterday as we're recording this. So on Wednesday.
Something like that, yeah.
We talked about Laken Riley before. She was a University of Georgia student who was sexually assaulted, raped. Can we say that still? Raped, and murdered.
No, she was. I mean, it's not a pretty word, but it is that's what happened. She was raped.
I just know that there's limits. I'm not TikTok doesn't allow that word. Okay.
Are we on TikTok still?
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Back.
Because Trump executed it.
Kind of. Yeah. Something.
Yeah.
We'll see. So Laken Riley was a nursing student or aspirations to be a nursing student. She was 21, 22. And for some reason, this guy who had fled charges in New York, state of New York, had gone to Georgia with his brother, I believe, and bad guy ended up, committing these horrific acts. And
seemingly for no reason, right? Like
there was no real explanation. I don't think he took the stand ever in his trial and got convicted. There was physical evidence as well.
The evidence was physical.
Look, there's more physical evidence. He's not on. For Justin, he wants to see himself.
Okay, whatever. All right.
You're on.
Okay, cool.
All right, thanks.
I'll kill you. Austin.
So Laken Riley Act is something put forward by Congress. Congress can make laws.
It was fairly bipartisan, wasn't it? Like everybody kind of agreed.
There were quite a few Democrats that did not sign off on it, but
that's right.
Catherine Cortez Masto, who's our senator, did sign. There was
like
a few,
4 or 5 Democrats that did, and everybody else was no.
Yeah. So one of the few Democrats that did sign is from our state. So the effect of the law, we'll say that, is that any illegal immigrant, any person who doesn't have legal status, the proper paperwork to be here, will be put on an ICE hold. Okay, so
just will be put on an ICE hold for any they have to be arrested first.
They have to be arrested. Sorry. For any pending criminal charges. So what happened here is the murderer of Laken Riley had some kind of theft charge, like simple theft.
So like misdemeanor petty larceny.
They're saying even shoplifting is now in this category. He had a theft charge and then absconded, which he left completely. ended up in Georgia, got a job. He was cleaning or something maybe on campus. I'm not sure where, but cleaning home, something like that.
Mhm.
So it's to prevent this exact case, I guess.
Yeah.
And Trump is saying that it'll save countless lives. I'm not sure if it's countless or not. Like,
Well,
it can probably be.
I mean, I think when you're talking about that, it's all like, I'm sure they have some demographic information, and I don't mean demographic like race or nationality. I mean demographic like this person committed this crime and was released on bail. They were not a naturalized person. They weren't a lawful permanent resident, and they did this many crimes. So theoretically, even if it's not saving lives in the direct sense, like actual murders, you could tell, somebody could count it in a year. How many times
could be studied? It would cost to be studied, but yeah,
sure. One person was let out and then did X number of crimes.
Yeah,
this will prevent all of that.
So
theoretically,
the problem we have as typical criminal defense attorneys is it's
even if you're anything but typical.
Even if you're arrested, not if you're convicted. So even if you're arrested and charged with theft, which it might not even be you, there might be evidence that it's not. These people could be put on ICE holds, could be indefinitely detained instead of on a simple misdemeanor.
I don't think they're going to be detained.
OR'd.
I think they're going to be probably sent someplace.
Well,
I am not a foreign national, but I can promise you that if the two options were indefinite detention or going back to wherever I'm from, I pick going back to wherever I'm from over to indefinite detention any day of the week.
Yeah, they're talking about Guantanamo Bay, but it's not built for anything.
They're about to. I saw something that said they were going to renovate it for like to where it'll hold 30,000 people.
I don't know. That's crazy.
I imagine what it's going to be. It's a staging ground, right? They'll ship them to Gitmo, and then as they can, they'll get them out, right? But that means they'll be able to funnel in 30,000. But, huh? You're talking about like the Korematsu, like the internment camps? A little different.
So, we'll say you've dealt with ICE holds before, right? We call them ICE holds in the criminal law. What's an ICE hold mean, Justin?
ICE hold means, so it's like any other hold, except for
I don't think we know anything about holds. We've never talked about holds.
Okay, here, so I got a guy today, right? You were there for sentencing. Got this kid a miracle. Call it the miracle in the courtroom #2, because the first time I got him a miracle, and the second time I managed to keep his miracle, despite the fact that he's trying to make it my job as hard as possible. But he has a case out of North Las Vegas, and so he currently has a hold. It's a non-extradition outside of Clark County, which means if he was in jail in Lincoln County, they wouldn't extradite him. They just let him go. Well, they'd give him 30 days. So you have to sit for 30 days, and this is for, interstate stuff or intrastate stuff. You sit for 30 days. They let the other jurisdiction know, hey, he's here. You have 30 days to come get him. If they don't come get you, they let you go. But because it's North Las Vegas and they're in the same county, then it's just an extradition. They extradite from CCDC to North Las Vegas jail. Same thing is true for ICE, right? Except for it's based on a different set of criteria, right?
And they're in every state. Like ICE is in every state. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically they put them in there, they run their number or whatever. I mean, if that's the thing that always kind of confused me on this is I don't really know what they do when, for you and I, we have a driver's license number, social security number, all that stuff. If you're a foreign national, you don't have any of that junk, right? So how do they determine who you are?
I don't know.
Hey, it's Shane Cox.
I don't know.
Don't know who that is. Don't know where he's from. I guess they just ask him questions and hope the guy tells the truth.
Are you a citizen? Let us run you. What's your social security number?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just say you're a sovereign citizen. And then,
oh my God.
And then they won't, right?
Did you see that stupid video I sent you last night?
No. I don't know if I want to see it.
It's just dumb.
All right. So that's a little bit on Lake and Riley. I don't know. We'll see how it holds up with our cases.
I think it's going to create a lot of problems. But, if it saves one person,
sure.
Then it'll be lauded as a success.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it'll be good or that it is good. I don't know yet. I know that I see the justification for it, right? The idea is, even if it was just one, even if Laken Riley is the only one, right? Shouldn't we have had a law to protect her?
Yeah. No, I mean, there's certainly people within our state, Nevada, like we have a big Hispanic community of, and this guy's Venezuelan, which is not as represented here, but there are a few of people who came to this country illegally, but as a 2 or 3 year old, right? So they don't have a home really in any other country. They don't understand, any other country. So if you send them back to Mexico, Central America, I don't know what they're doing. Like they didn't really commit the crime of coming to this country because they can't have the mens rea or the mental component of committing a crime to come here. So,
but I don't know if
those are huge question marks for me.
I don't know if illegal entry in the United States is a crime that requires a mens rea. I would imagine that's strict liability.
Yeah,
and I'm going to check the Google machine to find out.
I mean, you can't even decide that. I don't know. It's just,
what do you mean?
Those cases where you're brought over as a young child, and all you know is the U.S. If you start committing crimes, get sent back wherever else, they're just going to probably come back, right?
I would imagine.
What's going to stop them from coming back?
Mm-hmm. So that's always one thing that I thought was interesting, right? Okay, we found them, send them away. Okay.
They came over the first time.
Did we fix the thing that allowed them to get here in the first place or whatever? No. It's kind of like when we talk about the student loan shit, right? Oh, let's forgive all student loans. Okay,
now what?
Yeah, he loves free shit. He's one of that generation. Anyway, okay, cool.
Now
next semester, start racking that bill back up.
We're getting way too political, getting canceled all over from this.
That's practical.
Yeah, well.
I'm not saying we shouldn't get rid of student loans.
But that doesn't make sense.
Let's not attack the symptom. Let's attack the cause, like the disease. Okay. What's the disease? I'm not calling immigration a disease. That's not what I'm saying. If the issue is, I had to clarify because I could see how words could be taken out of context.
All right. See you from the last episode of Tangled Rights.
If the issue is people keep coming in, okay, why? How? If you don't solve those things, you're not going to fix.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense. All right, let's get on more topical legal stuff here.
Okay, but anyway, this act, who knows what's going to happen with it?
Yeah. What TBD, we have no idea how this is going to affect our clients. If there's an ICE hold put on somebody, though, it's usually at the end of the case. I mean, they might take them right away is what it's sounding like, too.
It's sounding like.
So if ICE hold immediately, you get OR'd. Maybe we wouldn't even ask for an OR if there's an ICE hold out there on these people. I mean, let's fight the case first.
You're certainly not going to pay for bail.
Yeah.
Why would you? And I looked it up. It's unlawful entry into the United States means that a person has entered the United States outside of immigration laws that allow legal entrance. So yeah, that's a strict liability. It's just did you or did you?
Okay.
Did you or did you not, rather?
Yeah. Well, we have one local story of Margaret Rudin or Rudin. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Rudin. Rudin.
I'd say.
Sure. All right. So Margaret met her fifth husband, at the age of 44.
Dang.
All right. She married Ronald Rudin.
Ronald Reagan?
Ronald Rudin.
Dang it.
Okay.
It'd be cooler if it was Ronald Reagan.
And he was a multimillionaire. He had a successful real estate practice here in Las Vegas.
That.
Okay. One day, Ronald goes missing. All right.
Where'd he go?
to the shadow realm, I guess. He's no longer with us.
He went to Neverland with Peter Pan?
Sure. Yes.
Where he'll never grow old?
Yes. He had some remains found, bodies partially decomposed. It was a couple weeks where he's lost before the body's found. Okay.
Where'd they find him?
Near Lake Mojave with some burnt remains of an antique steamer trunk, and he was dismembered, charred.
Oh, so it's not like they just found him laying on the ground, decomposed that way.
Yeah.
After he had been stuffed in a trunk and burnt. Got it. Okay, I'm with you.
Does my audio sound okay? Or is it just my headphones?
Yeah, sounds fine.
My headphones are sounding weird. Okay.
That's fine.
No, it's they just go in and
like
out.
Echoing or something?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a broken connection.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's.
Okay.
And news, Tangled Rights is moving to Cox and Wilson's office. That'll be exciting.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
I thought so. I don't know.
TBD.
Anyway,
TBD.
Yeah, TBD. We'll get to show you the new studio. It'll be fun.
It'll be fun. Hey, listeners, if you ever want a tour, come on by.
Yeah.
Here we are in Las Vegas.
Lawrence, we know you're going to be number one.
Yeah. Well, there's one.
He'll come by. I guarantee you will.
Yes, he will. Okay, so this happens December 1994, January 1995. So we're going back in the memory banks, even before my family moves to Las Vegas.
Dang.
So
I was just a kid back then.
Yeah. There was evidence that he had been shot in the head at least 4 times with a .22 caliber gun. This getting shot with a .22, you can walk that off, right? But no, just
not in the head.
No, but 4 times in the head.
Maybe.
The gun is traced back to him. It was his gun. Okay.
How did they trace it back to him?
It was found in Lake Mead.
Oh, so they found the gun. They know that he. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. There's some other evidence of things they found, which was super interesting. They found at his residence blood splatter in his bedroom, semen on the floor that had been removed from the house by authorities to test. Okay. I don't know what that's about. So in April, after a few months of investigation, Margaret,
whose semen was
the ex-wife, I don't know, that's not in these notes.
well, that seems like a pretty big fact.
She had a grand jury indictment handed down. Okay. Grand jury got indicted.
Shocking.
You can indict a ham sandwich, right? Isn't that what they always say?
Yeah, you can indict anybody
But
for
Margaret
anything.
had fled and was hiding out in Massachusetts. Okay. She was found 2.5 years later because of an astute pizza delivery guy who kind of saw and was like, kind of knew who she was.
Wait,
it sounds
you must
like
be Margaret from Las Vegas.
something
What?
like that. And then the cop posed as police delivery guy to get her arrested. She gets extradited back. Okay. All right. She goes on trial. Okay.
Loses.
And her defense, the trial defense seems to be that the husband was killed due to illegal activities he was involved in. All right. The last news was she had some like antique shop and he had his real estate office nearby. He would normally walk over to visit her. Last time he was seen was walking over to her shop.
Okay.
So that's the last news that they have. Old trial, so the notes on this are,
Sure.
we don't have much, but these are the limited notes. She is found guilty. It was a 2-month trial, and she is sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 20 years. All right.
Okay.
That would have been 2021 timeframe. You did appeals. Every prosecutor here in Clark County starts in the appeals division. Okay?
Not all of them, but most of them.
Most of them do.
They want you to if they can, but sometimes, like right now, they're hurting for deputies, so they'll just hire people straight in.
So there's a lot here. There's a lot here. There's direct appeals, habeas corpus. Give us just a little breakdown. We hear about these appeals sometimes in the news, and there's just so much. Give me, I guess, your elevator sales pitch on what direct appeals, what that means versus habeas corpus.
Habeas corpus, it can be used in any time, right? It's all sorts of things. It means bring the body forth. That's the Latin phrase.
We use a lot of Latin in the law, so
to tie into common law, whatever. You can do that before trial, before a final verdict, or after. It's for various different things. So habeas in this instance, I recall this, they used it to bring a ineffective assistance of counsel claim after the direct appeal. So direct appeal is you have a verdict and you want to appeal that verdict for errors in the trial, whether that be something like prosecutorial misconduct or any other number of things. A judge made a ruling. Like, for example, that murder case that we were working on, right? We had a couple of bad rulings that were certainly going to get appealed. That would have been a direct appeal on the judge's ruling saying that the judge got the law wrong. You have 21 or 30 days, I forget, after the judgment, entry of judgment to file your direct appeal, or at least your notice of direct appeal.
30 days, yeah.
30 days, okay. And then the other side you file your notice, you file your appeal. The other side gets to respond saying why the judge was right. And the only person who's ever typically going to appeal is somebody who was on the short end of the stick. I mean, I think I've heard of some weird instances where they win overall, but they lost on one issue that they were appealing on. But the problem there is that you do open the gate to have the entire thing thrown in the appeal.
And that's like a couple week process, right? An appeal doesn't take that long, does it?
No, appeals take years.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some that get fast tracked, right? Like I think I've seen stuff come back in like a year, 8 months, but that's the fastest that you're going to see it.
Yeah. That's extremely fast.
And then, so you file your appeal, they file their opposition, then you get to file a reply. Then it goes and it sits in some dusty old building for a little while. And then they send it to some non-dusty, non-old judges and they get to review it. And then they'll either set it for oral argument, which means where the counsel gets to come in and kind of supplement the briefing by explaining things or clarifying. And then the court will issue a ruling, or they'll rule on the papers, which you can also request in your appeal, I believe, if memory serves.
There's so much.
And that's like the quick and dirty version of it. The real thing here is that appeals are boring, right?
It's not being in a courtroom very much at all. There are oral arguments, even just rarely. Not even always.
I mean, I never did a proper oral argument, but like during law school, we had our appellate competitions and stuff.
Yeah.
And they brought in federal judges to sit for the final round. And if you got to make it to the final round, I did. Then you got smashed by some federal judge as a baby. You don't know what you're doing. And this judge is in there. What about this? Blah, blah, blah. Like oral argument sucks. And that wasn't even for real. That was just like for pretend.
Yeah. So this is one of the instances where state court and federal court are tangled together.
The rights are tangled.
So Margaret had filed an appeal 2002 saying that she did not have effective assistance of counsel. Okay. So didn't have a good attorney who provided her, valuable advice or a valuable defense.
The standard under Strickland is that they were ineffective and that it materially changed the outcome of the case or something like that. So not only did they do something wrong or ineffective, but also it had an effect on the case.
So in criminal cases, unlike civil cases, if new evidence is come to light, you can rebring another motion or another appeal. Let's say DNA evidence is found later, or the condition of your attorney. Let's say he had a secret, addiction or something that is not known at the time, but later is found out through some tell-all, an ex-wife or something. Yeah. You can have a later appeal. So there's that timeliness you talked about is a little different there. Right. It can come back up.
Well, so, I mean, as with anything in the law, there's exceptions to all the rules.
There's so many exceptions. Yes.
So in this instance, your time frame is 30 days, but I think, and then it's like it's told, right? It's told until you realize the thing, yes. Right? So if tolling means that it's paused. So I have 30 days to appeal, but I don't find out until 20 years later when DNA technology changes that the evidence was screwed up in some way. Then that 30-day period has the pause button pushed on it until we get to the point that I can actually action the evidence or the new technology.
So the timeline on this is 2002 is her original appeal, gets denied. Okay. Nevada Supreme Court says no. Okay. 2008 is the next kind of motion that she files.
Okay.
She is granted a new trial at the lower court level. Okay. Sometimes they do big hearings on this, big evidentiary hearings to decide. And then it goes up to the Nevada Supreme Court again, and Nevada Supreme Court says no.
So the state appealed that one?
No.
She was granted a new trial.
She was granted a new trial in 2008.
And then
sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
So state appealed, yes.
Defense attorney requests motion argument. Trial court says, yep, we need a new trial. State says, nope, we're appealing.
Yep.
And then, so basically, whoever the loser is gets to appeal.
So now we're in 2010. Mm-hmm. They say no. State Nevada Supreme Court says no, I guess the second time. Okay.
2 years later is how long it took for the papers to get through the dusty building.
In 2011, she files a habeas corpus petition.
Asking to bring the body forth.
So you can file a habeas corpus petition after you exhaust your direct appeals, which Correct. At this point she would have. You can do it in front of the state court, but you have the opportunity to do this now in federal court. So she tries again in federal court. So she was seeking a new trial and reversal of her conviction. April 2011. This goes up to the district court judge, first level of federal court, and he says no. He dismisses it. Okay?
Shocking.
And then she goes to the circuit court, which
Ninth
is
Circuit in San Francisco,
which is an appellate court, and this one was specifically
beautiful building
in San Francisco.
I've been there.
There
is a surprising amount of human shit on the street.
We've talked about circuit court, Ninth Circuit's being the biggest one, has the most justices. Typically,
there's so much justice done in that building.
Yeah. And a justice is a fancy word for a judge, but an appellate judge is what it usually is.
Juez?
It's called a justice.
Juez?
Juez. Yeah,
Juez.
It's Spanish for judge. I don't know if the word justice
Justice.
in terms of like the individual.
Is it justicio?
Justicia, yeah, it's
Justicia?
justice, like fairness.
Justicio.
But I don't know justice as
me.
Okay, yeah, you are just in. So it goes up to a 3-judge panel of the Ninth Circuit. That's typically how these things start.
And they agreed with her.
And no.
Dang it.
You ready for this? And it's 2-1 against her. All right.
She requested en banc.
She requests en banc. Okay. You can request.
It's like, I never heard this, but I know how these things go or something.
And we do this in our state court too. There could be a panel that decides it. Could be the en banc, which means the entire court.
The entire court. So the thing there to note is that the 3-judge panel is binding, but on lower courts, but an en banc opinion is like binding with an exclamation at the end of it. If you can also appeal the en banc to the 3-judge to the en banc, as we're seeing right now with that gun case.
Yeah. Okay. So these notes don't tell me, but let me see here.
En banc.
No, she just got. They withdrew their opinion and filed a new opinion.
The en banc did?
Yeah. No, just the panel.
Okay.
I don't know why.
What did they say? How did the opinion change?
They granted. They said that she deserved a new trial.
She deserves it.
Yeah.
Give it to her now.
So there was a timeliness. That was the reason that she had it denied initially anyway, was she didn't file her habeas petition in time.
Oh.
So after everything. And they...
Oh, it was procedural?
It was procedural.
That's so stupid.
So then they overturned it to look at it, look at the timeliness of it, and did say that her attorney at the time did violate, ethical rules in his representation of her.
Love
so
that.
now
it was drawn and quartered, and then we moved on with our lives.
Sure. So
not literally, it's a joke.
I mean, now we're in 2015. So
meanwhile, she's been in prison.
She's been in prison.
Time.
Yeah, she's been in the women's state prison that you see on the way out of town in Las Vegas,
or that
on
you
the
visited
I-15.
if you're Justin,
or if you visited. So, and then there's the United States Supreme Court gets involved because the Nevada Attorney General decides to appeal it and try and take it to the U.S. Supreme Court. You are not guaranteed for your case to be heard by the U.S. Supreme Court.
What do they do? What's it called when they take your case?
They have to grant certiorari.
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 You can't say it without...
Is that a Latin word?
Certiorari.
Certiorari.
You can't say it without sounding drunk. Hold on. I need to Google it so I can make sure I spell it right.
So the U.S. Supreme Court, you're not guaranteed for your case to be heard by them. They can look at it and just tell you no.
It's
so
CER.
They told them no.
TIORARI. And this is pronouncing it certiorari. Certiorari.
So they send it back. They send it back and say, oh, okay, it's timely. And then this is 2016, okay, that U.S. Supreme Court knocks it down to go back, okay? So then, guess how many more years it takes? 6 more years.
Jesus Christ.
6 more years. This is after COVID too, where a local district judge just around the corner, Richard Boulware, okay? You didn't have your trial in front of him, did you?
Judge Boulware.
Okay. In May 2022, he vacated the murder conviction. Okay. So then the AG doesn't do anything else. That's the final step.
So that's the part that irks the shit out of me, because then they can just decide, we're done.
So they turn it back and they say, all right, well, we're not appealing. And the DA looks at it, and it takes them until December 2024 to say, all right, we're not going to pursue this anymore. We're dismissing.
Did she still sit in prison? Or did she get out when her conviction was vacated?
I don't know about that, because I mean,
That would
she still has the pending charges, right? So whatever,
potentially, if they're not filed,
whatever original, well, she still has the case it goes back to, having a new trial, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm procedurally, I'm not sure if you vacate the conviction, if the original charges just pop right back in their place, like whack-a-mole, or if you have to refile it.
It goes right before trial, right? Like, take it to trial.
I don't know. I've never done that.
So they dismissed December 9th, 2024. Okay. Very recent. Like that's
recent.
This is just happening. And what's happening now is Margaret is filing a civil claim.
Good.
And we talked about that, a wrongful conviction before. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that really overturned like the direct ideas behind the conviction in this. It's more of the attorney representation that went bad. So she's filing, something for wrongful prosecution.
Good.
Wrongful.
Bankrupt the state.
I had this on our list to talk about. I just happened to be in court and run into the attorney that's representing her on the civil matter today. Mentioned it to him.
Who is it?
Adam Breeden. Adam Breeden. So I knew him from way back from some other stuff. And I was like, hey, I saw you're in the news about that. And he's like, yeah, not going to say much about it. He's like, yeah, I've had a few in the news. I'm like, good for you, dude. So
fancy schmancy.
We'll watch that. It takes a while to get to, as you've seen through, she got her justice 20 years later. She was finally let out after she spent 20 years in prison.
Is that justice?
Did she do the crime or not? I don't know. I don't know.
How old was she when this happened?
She was born in 1943. So 2001, she would have been almost
60.
60.
And she's going to be able to load a dude in a trunk and drag him out to the desert?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's an argument.
He was
in pieces. He was, cut up. So
yeah, but if I put you on a scale and then I chop you into pieces and put you on a scale, you're probably going to weigh about the same amount.
Yeah, one piece at a time, though.
What? She took one piece at a time and left the trunk out there and then set it on fire? Get out of here.
I don't know, dude.
Anyway, I don't know. Whatever. She's out. She's going to sue him. We'll see what happens. Tune in next week.
Hey. There was so much appellate stuff in this one case.
I know. And it's good because it enables us to talk about a bunch of really boring things.
All right, sure.
The thing is, you don't have to worry about appeal if you never lose.
Oh, wow. Okay. So we talked about appellate courts. There's appellate courts and trial courts.
Didn't somebody that we know say something like that and mean it?
There is a local attorney who has an ad about that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They approach him and say, oh, they're definitely going to appeal. And he says, well, I've never had to appeal.
Who was that?
Yes.
Oh, it's not slander if you say it. It's true.
It's true. No, he definitely doesn't sue people all the time.
Right, but it's the truth. If that's what his commercial says, that's what it says. I just know that I heard that somewhere and I couldn't remember where.
That's it.
Okay, it was a commercial. Yeah. Didn't he also have a commercial with Mike Tyson in it?
He's had ads. Yeah, no, it's Demopoulos. It's Demopoulos.
Yeah, because Demopoulos was on like the back of his trunks or something at the fight against Jake Paul.
Something, yeah.
I'm positive.
Yeah, it's Demopoulos. Yeah. He has ads with him.
I saw that Demopoulos is doing like a reality TV show. I'm serious.
Okay. Well,
no, I'm completely serious. It's like some Vegas law or some shit like that. I could ask Babushka about it. She works there now.
Yeah, I know you could. Well,
Demopoulos.
All right.
Well,
yeah.
All right. Well, good for him. He's obviously crushing it. You see, he's friends with Mike Tyson. That's pretty dope. I'm not friends with that guy. I would probably be his friend.
Yeah.
I bet you could teach me a lot about punching that I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Do you think he would like go to the gym with you if you were friends with him? Or do you think that's something he wouldn't want to do? Because he had to do it so much when he was a kid.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm sure everywhere he goes, he gets asked to have his picture taken with him.
Yeah. Well, fuck it. SHOT Show. I ran into Anderson Silva, and he was like 10 feet from me. And the people that I was there was, oh, do you want a picture with him? I was like, fuck, I'm not going to bother that guy.
Yeah.
Look at all these people just bothering him. I was like, I just kind of snuck to the side and was like, that was Anderson Silva. Hell yeah. He likes guns too. As do I. Anyway,
So talking about different court levels.
yeah.
Usually the highest court in a state, or heard of the U.S. Supreme Court, is the top. Okay, the top final court. They're called Supreme, not because of they have
Sour cream.
tomatoes and sour cream, but because they are the final say. Okay.
Did you see the meme that has AOC in it? And it says that she's like, it's called the Supreme Court because they have sour cream and tomatoes. Oh my God.
No, I have not seen that.
It's brilliant.
Except in the state of New York. The state of New York, for whatever reason, calls their trial court level the Supreme Court and their highest court the Court of Appeals. Who knows why? I don't know. Old thing.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. It says, most people don't know this, Stephen, but the Supreme Court is just like a regular court, but it has sour cream and tomatoes. And you're going to put that in right there.
Oh, man.
It's just a funny meme, man.
It's just some people can't laugh at memes.
Why?
They're just
memes. Like when you think about all the benefits of existing as we do now, like high-speed communication, high-speed flight, the internet, memes is out there.
Hey.
Antibiotics, blood transfusions,
collective humor, Yeah. I do like that.
I'm certainly an easy target to laugh at. Like you can laugh at me for a lot of shit, and I welcome it. Please, by all means, bring joy to your life with my stupidity.
Yes, you can take it.
And I'm not even a public figure. She's setting herself up. There's special rules on this. Like you're perfectly allowed to make fun of them. First Amendment. I'm not even making fun of her. I didn't make the meme. It is just funny.
All right. Just like that judge that passed that meme and then getting fired.
This is a little different.
That's
my meme doesn't have any racist overtones.
It's true. If
anything,
it's just calling her stupid.
Yeah, you're just like saying that she's dumb, which I don't know her to be dumb. I think she might be a bit fanatical, but I don't think she's stupid.
No, she seems to be.
She went to Boston, right? That's a good school. We have a friend that went to Boston, don't we? Yeah, he's a smart guy.
Yeah, he is a smart guy. Who doesn't like tomatoes and sour cream? I don't want to pay the extra cost.
I love sour cream, but the problem is, man, I'm super worried. Like, not that I have it, but like I'm always worried about like the stuff that I eat. If you eat it on a regular basis, like fucking up your cholesterol and whatnot.
Okay, sour cream would be one of those high fat content.
I try not to eat that because every once in a while I'll binge and eat 6 crumble cookies in one sitting, and each one of those is made with like 6 sticks of butter.
Yeah,
so I know
high
that
fat content. Yeah,
I gotta balance it out. Yeah. So the other,
6 days of the week.
20 days of the 3 weeks, I'm eating nothing but ground turkey and blueberries.
Yes, you eat that a lot.
Which I'm getting really close. Almost cut down to where I need to be for the jiu-jitsu tournament.
Nice.
That's good. Yeah.
So there is a judge out in Buffalo, New York, okay, by the name of Mark Grisanti.
Tatanka.
All right, here's my hat plug. Did you know New Era, which is the hats that I always say, the company is founded in Buffalo. So Buffalo has their minor league team, the Bisons. They always have the coolest hats. Like there are so many Buffalo Bisons hats out there because New Era's in Buffalo. But this is Buffalo Bison. It's a bison that looks like a man, kind of like
it's like a centaur or something.
This kind of like the guy in
Mr. Tumnus.
No. The French movie Beauty and the Beast. Just looks like Beauty and the Beast, doesn't it?
Yeah. What's the beast's name?
The Beast.
No, but he has a name.
The Beast. He's sliding into base with the word bisons. This is orange with a blue bill, sky blue. They have these in every color you can imagine because Buffalo is just the most popular city.
This is saying his name is Adam.
He's a prince too, Prince Adam.
Prince Adam, yeah.
When he turns into the ugly guy at the end. But yeah, it looks like
he's only ugly on the outside, Shane. He was beautiful on the inside.
He was not. He took a guy into jail just for coming into his, looking for refuge in his castle.
I thought
Belle's dad, and then Belle switched for her dad. I got kids, so I watched this stuff.
Oh,
man.
I thought that the whole thing was that he was that way from like some curse and all the people.
He was because he was mean.
Oh,
that's why he was cursed.
Oh,
he was bad.
Then.
And then Belle's dad was trying to go to this convention because he's an inventor, and then happened upon the castle. It's snowy outside. Was looking for refuge, and then he says, "No, you're in jail now." And then Belle comes and swaps with him. She gets Stockholm syndrome, falls in love with him. That's not a story,
dude.
That
he
I want
had
my kids
a
to follow.
talking clock. All right,
he had a talking clock. The clock was turned into a clock. It was
a human. Yeah. It was all
because
and like
he
there
was punished for Prince Adam's bad acts. Yeah. And the candlestick was the very flirty one.
Ooh.
Yeah. Interesting.
I've never been flirted by a candlestick.
There's still time in the day.
I doubt that.
All right. So Mark Grisanti.
Croissant?
Grisanti. He's a Buffalo Supreme Court judge, and
Supreme Court is the lowest court.
Yes.
Did we go there?
We went all over there. All over it.
Oh, okay.
Got it so covered.
New York's backwards.
Tomato and sour cream.
And that's why I left.
So,
and because it's freezing, lake effect snow is stupid.
I see this all the time. People fighting with their neighbors. HOA issues. People fighting with their neighbors. They're outside about this person who parks in the wrong spot.
I can't believe he's enjoying his property next to mine.
Mark's wife was very upset and yelling at the neighbors in only a way New Yorkers seem to be able to. And the cops...
You have not been to Southeast Kansas white trash.
The cops come, are called out. They start talking to everybody. They talk to Mark's wife. They bring her over kind of physically. And Judge Grisanti takes exception to that, goes over to the cop and kind of gives him a little shove. Okay?
Don't touch my wife,
because they're trying to arrest the wife.
Don't touch my wife, dog.
They're trying to detain her just because she was causing such a ruckus.
Do you know that I'm a judge?
Yeah. So he
didn't
really pull that. He pulled my daughter's a cop and my son-in-law's a cop. Didn't even pull the fact that he was a judge. He was more about which I thought was weird. So don't act entitled.
No.
Well, you might find some video to put in of him doing the shove. And
11, the judge in question here is State Supreme Court Judge Mark Grisanti, appointed to the bench by Governor Cuomo. Now, Grisanti shoved a city officer after police responded to a fight involving the judge, his wife, and a few neighbors.
DA John Flynn says the behavior of everyone involved was childish, but not criminal.
Judges are not above the law. He does get off pretty easy.
Yeah.
He gets a censure. Have you heard of a censure before?
Is it a public censure or a private censure?
It's a public censure. Yeah. This is public censure that's put out there. And then it's also announced he will not be reappointed. Okay.
Ooh.
So
you lose your job.
A super easy way to lose your job is by acting entitled.
Do not push a police officer.
So just remain calm. If you're the right person, if you're in the right, you'll be able to prove it. Okay. And sometimes justice is slow. The judge should know.
Fighting a cop.
The judge should know that justice is very slow. It's not this guy parked in front of my driveway. Let's go settle this now.
Man, it's almost like judges, attorneys, and everyone else are sometimes just irrational animals.
Yes.
We're all the same, it turns out, regardless of our job, even though some of us should be.
Yes. All right. Well,
I'm just saying, like he got mad because someone was touching his wife. You get mad if some cop put their hand on your wife, right?
Yes, I would.
Would you go to jail?
Probably not. Because I'm pretty calm, reasonable.
Would I go to jail?
You
someone
probably
put their hands
would.
on your wife?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
Probably.
Potentially.
Fucking get your hands off Hannah, dude.
Depends on who it is. This is a cop, though. Don't fight with cops. Don't physically fight with cops.
I've never physically fought with a cop, but I told you
on duty.
Well, yeah, not on duty. But I've told you that story about that time in Austin when I was going to punch him. I was going to punch him as hard as I could. No?
I don't think so.
Okay, long story short, my buddy, we're in a bar after we made it to the Sweet 16 for rugby that year, and it was held in Austin. We're in a bar. My buddy is talking to some girls. Cops come in. They're running IDs. The girls were underage. So they tell him to fuck off. He's Kenyan. He's like, he does what they say because they were rude to him, but he does it really slowly. And then as they're leaving, I have no idea this is happening. I'm talking to some random Canadian guy at the bar. As they're leaving, he goes, "Have a good night, officers," or something like that. And so the little short one comes over and gets in his face and starts screaming. And I don't know what's going on. I just know that Bob's getting yelled at. His real name was Liston. And so I go over and I'm like, no, he's from Kenya. It's cool. He doesn't understand. Everything's fine. And he slaps my hands. Like, I was doing the fawns, 2 thumbs up, like the universal symbol for everything's fine.
Were you a little?
Oh, I was hammered.
Oh, okay.
I had, this was the night that I discovered vodka Red Bulls. I was annihilated. It was awesome. But yeah, I was literally like, I wasn't in his face. I was far away from him. I was just like, dude, it's cool. Everything's fine. No. He doesn't get it. And I literally had both my thumbs up and he fucking pow. It's like, motherfucker. And so my friends grabbed me. The cop that was with him grabbed him and we just separated.
Oh, good.
That was the end of it.
That's surprising.
But I absolutely would have hit him in the face if my friends would not have grabbed me.
Is it just Austin PD or is it there's like
I think it was Austin
on
PD.
campus or something.
No,
There's
no,
not
no, no. It was on
campus
6th
police?
Street. It was on
Okay.
6th Street.
I've been there once, but it's been a minute.
Black's Barbecue. Next time you go.
Terry Black's Barbecue?
Yes.
Yeah.
Premium. Anyway, yeah. So I'm not, whenever I say don't punch cops, there's been times and places that I wanted to.
Hey, but we can give good advice to people about.
Yeah. I can give better advice to other people than I can to myself.
Just
Look at my dating history.
All right. So next topic, Brian Cohee Jr.
Coheed?
No, not
Damn
Coheed and Cambria. Brian Cohee Jr.
Good sniper.
We'll put in this video of this creepy. Just be warned. This guy is so incredibly creepy.
Creepy
and,
groovy.
And killed a man. And this is weird.
I don't like that part. Why'd he kill him?
So, parents have some concerns of some stuff they may have found in your room?
Yeah, I believe so.
And what would it be?
A human head and hands.
Like, for real human head and hands?
Yes.
From?
That fellow who went missing recently.
Which fellow was that?
Warren Brown.
Warren Brown? When did he go missing?
The night of the 27th.
The night of the 27th? Okay, and how did you end up with him?
I murdered him.
With what?
A knife.
Why would you have done that?
I've always wondered what murder felt like.
He just killed a homeless guy because he was obsessed with murder and death. You remember this guy?
Oh,
he's
this is
wearing
the
the
kid with
glasses,
the-
the
oh,
nerdy. Yeah.
Weirdo.
So I don't want to talk about too much. His parents.
What?
It's a weird
Oh,
story.
you got it in 2025, dude. You did really good organization on this.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. The
but it's also really.
the note was just horrible that we had before.
Today's January 30th.
I fixed the note. Yeah,
I don't see any link to the video.
there isn't. We'll have to add it later.
Oh, okay. I've seen
But
the video.
you've seen it before.
Yeah, I think I sent it to you, right? That fucking weirdo.
Yeah, we've talked about it. What I want to talk about this is just an analysis of what is custodial interrogation. Okay. So in this video, parts we won't show, but the cops just talking to him, having a conversation. Cops are trained on doing this. They want you to admit things before you feel like you're being detained. So no,
it's
what?
before a reasonable person would feel like they were being detained.
Yes. So no handcuffs on you. No handcuffs on you.
In your yard.
He's not even saying, he's not even telling you you're under arrest or anything like that.
Hey man, just
They
wanna ask you some
make
questions.
sure that they have the power in this situation. So they're talking to this young kid. His dad's in the background, hearing that his son's a murderer, and he has a reaction to it.
I think the whole thing was that the family found it, right?
the family found it in
Yeah. So
in his
custodial
room.
interrogation is whenever a reasonable person would feel that they are not free to leave the environment or leave the place that the police are asking them questions at.
So
And
this
that
is
can be a ton of factors. I think we actually talked about that on this case or on this show before, because I remember referencing that
we did quite a bit. Yes.
that room placement matters.
Yes.
Like if it's me, because the door's over there and you two are the cops, doesn't matter if this is my bedroom. A reasonable person might not feel free to leave when there's two cops between them and the door's closed.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So this is specific. This is pre-Miranda. So you do not have to be Mirandized for this.
Right.
And so they don't go in to tip you off that, you're under suspicion or anything like that. I mean,
Because it's
the
what
guy
they
knows he
call-
murdered somebody, so it's not like,
a spontaneous utterance at that point,
yeah.
right? You're
So
being
it's just-
questioned, but it's not like a formal interrogation.
Yeah. So he feels free to leave. He's got his hands in his pockets, like, he's just looking normally.
Mhm.
And so the cop just has him talk. And
What does he say, Shane?
he says, I killed that man. That's why. Yeah. So
And what does he have? How
he
did he
admits
prove
to
that
it.
he killed him?
Well, he hit his head and his hands were in the house.
Cut his hands and his head off.
Yes. That was part of it.
Carl, that kills people.
Yes. Reading a book. Go on. And, this guy walked in. Okay. So I went up to him. Yes. And I stabbed him 37 times in the chest. Carl, that kills people. Wow.
And then what the cop does too that's interesting, and just got to be warned of this, he goes and he pats him down and says, hey, do you have anything, that could hurt
Weapons.
me? So pats him down, but doesn't put handcuffs on him. Keeps talking to him, okay? Doesn't read him Miranda rights. Cops are trying to get him to talk and tell him things.
I think at that
There's an
point-
argument. He had already said he murdered him. So
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
That's already in. But that's the question I have too. Is the pat down, and there's not like concrete, an answer. Yes, he patted him down. It's all fact specific. So if you have a good defense attorney, they'll go in and argue if you made the comment after you're being patted down. Oh, that's the time when a reasonable person would believe, they are not free to leave. I know at this point I'm not free to leave.
Yeah, why would the cop be patting me down, looking for weapons if he wasn't going to do something?
So the cop will ask,
but it's just
in
a
this
sliding
instance,
scale.
Open questions get you to talk, get you to feel comfortable. Like, oh yeah, man, you know that guy? Like, tell me about him. Like, oh, you knew the victim? All right.
Oh no, that's not what he did. He asked him. He's like, the kid started talking about missing person. He's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And he got him to provide information that only somebody who did it would know.
Yeah.
Well, where was he? Oh, over at the,
and this is just culpability that's coming out. Culpability that's coming out.
No, the cop did a good job.
The cop did his job. So the warning we have to people is if you say something accidental, just don't talk to cops.
It's even worse if you say something intentional.
Don't talk to cops.
But it's not going to matter because the parents are going to be there and they're like, yo, I found this in my kid's room. It's fucking psycho. I went to open his closet and there was a little shrine in there with a severed head and hands.
Yeah, we just have to try and illustrate these examples.
It makes me think of Hey Arnold. You know how Olga or Helga had that
the shrine to
Arnold? Only it's a fucking psycho with a dead dude.
He
looked a little off, didn't he?
He looked a little off. They said, yes, we know that he's obsessed with the occult, and we thought it might have been fake for a moment, and we thought maybe he'd channel that energy to being getting into
World of Warcraft,
being a mortician or something like that. But no, he channeled it some other way.
I wonder how many morticians or mortuary assistants or whatever they are. It's like a Dexter situation. So that they're not doing something that's, like bad. They,
I don't know.
This
is like the saddest thing to talk about, but
is it?
I mean, this guy didn't deserve to die, right?
Yeah, probably not.
So it is sad that there's individuals like that. Like, I can't comprehend.
Well, yeah, that's
to do
the
that
thing.
to somebody.
That's the thing. It's weird, and I think that's the reason that these ones are the ones that always make the documentaries and stuff. It's like,
especially random killings.
Yeah, it was just completely random.
Because then people are more fearful, like that could happen to them if it's random. It's not like a bad boyfriend, bad girlfriend,
or someone breaking into your house, or
it's random.
Some personal breakdown of a relationship or whatever. It's like, nope, I just felt like killing, and there was a guy with blood or whatever with the whole Jeffrey Dahmer thing.
Yeah.
He was, granted, his targets were specific, but I think it was targets of opportunity. And he was, in that community himself, he was targeting gay men.
Yeah.
But he was a gay man himself. And so, he would, go where the prey was, I suppose. But it's just weird when it doesn't have a reason, right? Like, no, they didn't wrong you. They didn't do anything. They're just existing.
Yeah, no, those are the scary ones. I think that's why they become famous, and how creepy this guy talks and
He's
looks.
a little weird, but I just thought he was kind of
off,
a little autistic, perhaps
acoustic.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like you meet somebody and you know that they're on the spectrum somewhere. Yeah.
Not
sure.
fully. Yeah, they're socially, but
just odd.
Yeah, odd duck. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. So our listener question today is: what is the difference between a lawsuit and a complaint? There's a lot of people who are seeing this stuff about what's her name, Blake Lively, her lawsuit, her complaint,
Amber Heard, Johnny Depp, all that shit. Anytime there's a famous one,
people start asking these questions. So, what I would call a lawsuit is the entire case, a case. A complaint. Sometimes we use complaint interchangeably, but complaint is actually a specific document that starts a lawsuit. So a complaint is something you file that kind of lists out what you're accusing the other person of doing and what you're asking for. Generally, it's supposed to be a general document, nothing too specific, but sometimes we use those words kind of interchangeably because within a lawsuit, there can be a complaint. There can be a counterclaim. Like in this one, there can be a third party claim. There can be a cross claim. One defendant could sue another defendant saying, I'm not responsible. You're responsible.
And then that skips all of the other documents that come in litigation, which are
There's so many. There could be another complaint, another case, and they get joined up. You can file a motion here in Nevada to kind of hear these cases together at the same time.
Then it starts getting real complex, though.
There's these cases with hundreds of defendants too. So a complaint is technically a singular document, but sometimes we call complaint as though it's the case. So there is a difference slightly between what a lawsuit is versus a complaint, but mostly the same thing. Kind of the same thing. A complaint's a specific document, but sometimes we refer to it as a general thing.
I like your first answer, which was just the lawsuit is the whole body.
Yes.
The complaint's just the head or the finger or whatever way you want to start it with.
Okay. I don't know if I said that specifically, but
You didn't say that, but I mean, that's the way I look at it.
All right. Another reminder, February 13th is our plan to be going live. So we'll put that on our socials.
February the 4th, right?
Maybe.
What day is it? I don't know. No.
We'll talk about that.
All right, guys. Thanks for putting up with our shit for another week. Sorry, I'm stuffy.
Keep your rights.
Keep them.
Peace.
Don't talk to fucking cops.